If you have a furnished accommodation, you need to stop talking to relocation search specialist, and here's why. My name is Ruben Kanya. I am a temporary housing provider and specialist where we help investors nationwide turn their quarterly income into their monthly income. And in this video, I'm going to tell you who you should be speaking to and who you should not. So who is a relocation search specialist anyway, and who are they not? Well, you should not be mixing the difference between a relocation search specialist and a relocation specialist. They actually are not created equally. As a matter of fact, in most firms, a relocation search specialist is junior to the relocation specialist, which is senior. Now, the relocation specialists are the ones that you do want to be speaking to because they are the ones who are typically looking for furnished accommodations. You may have heard recently some news about, oh, we're only looking for non-furnished, etc. All that this means is that there are a lot of companies who have incentives to work with a sector of homes that are unfurnished, because it means that they can work with their house furnishing partners. Now, let's unpack this. What are we even talking about? Let's zoom out. If this is your first time on my page and first time watching a video, we specialize in teaching investors how to work with relocation companies who are working with insurance companies. The reason they work with the insurance companies is they're working with the insurance company to relocate a displaced family due to a claim that's been filed due to an unforeseen event. It could be a tree falling in a home, a pipe bursting, and whatnot. So when you think of a State Farm, we think of Allstate, these companies do not have the time to go on Furnished Finder or Airbnb and or let alone Google your company respectfully to find you as a temporary housing provider or investor who is in midterm rentals, right? So what do? They go ahead and partner with these relocation agencies who specialize, their bread and butter is to relocate families in bulk. And this is why we always insert our way into the way of existing traffic rather than trying to create our own, because let's face it, we want to do less and get more, right? And so if there's an existing funnel of traffic, it is your duty and obligation to get in front of it. That is why you would still leverage platforms like Airbnb, Furnished Finder, etc., where these relocation specialists live. However, it's important that you understand who they are working with and who they're not trying to work with. And this is where you might get a little bit confused if you hear the word relocation and you hear the word specialist and you miss out on that keyword search, because there's a lot of companies, again, some of them will have different names, but they have different individuals working on two different objectives. One objective is to bring the relocation firm a lot of properties that are unfurnished so that they can tap on the shoulder of their furnishing partners and make more money that way. It means they can get rent for lower and then tap into their partners in the housing industry. I, as a matter of fact, recently interviewed a gentleman on my show In the Lab with Ruben Kanya, that's me, where you can actually find a playlist in this channel and check out the episode I recorded with Gabriel Walker, episode 331, vertically integrated from furnishing to filling temporary housing units. And this is because Gabriel Walker first started a furnishing company, which is a lucrative industry to provide furniture for these vacant units that a lot of these companies at scale need, right? If you need to go ahead and furnish 20 units, who do you call? You would call Gabriel Walker. And there's a lot of companies out there, like Court is another one that's very typical. But I digress. The reason I even bring this up is because a lot of these relocation companies do have divisions where they are looking for landlords and home providers that have unfurnished homes. So if you come across someone, a relocation search specialist typically is terms that they use. It might change from company to company, but those individuals aren't looking for furnished accommodation. It doesn't matter how many you pitch to them. That's not their objective. They're getting paid to find unfurnished because it makes the firm money to work with their partners that will furnish it. Therefore, there's a specific division that's tied to that. So you do not be confused if you hear, hey, I thought these relocation companies were looking for furnished accommodation. Now one told me that they're not. I'm confused. confused, do not be confused. Understand how the game works. When you understand how the game works, you can understand how to navigate around it so that you can be in alignment with them. And also, you don't want to sell someone an apple when they're looking for an orange, right? So you want to make sure that you're aligned with their objective. If you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it and continue on with the gems in this video. Best way to align with the objectives is to already understand how it works. So if you speak to a relocation search specialist, which is typically junior to a relocation specialist, I know, pretty close, then understand that they're most likely working on specific files that are only unfurnished accommodations. What you do want to focus on, if you do have a furnished accommodation, which is what we do, is you do want to go ahead and partner with these relocation specialists, because they are the ones who are in the front lines of finding properties like yourselves. And it's really important that you understand that there is an opportunity for you to be a go-to, and more on that later, because they have partner programs, landlord programs, etc. And it's really important for you to understand with respect to where you want to take your business as to whether you want to be a vendor that is going to be a preferred vendor and there's a fee for it to pay. If you ask me, I like to actually reserve my thoughts on how I feel about that, depending on where we end up going with some of these companies. But once you start doing a lot of business with them, they're going to ask you to pay to play, and so do not be surprised for that either. Referral fees, etc., which I don't get into because it's such a dynamic playing field that things might change. So I don't want you to hear something from the time that I record this and say, hey, Ruben said this. But I do want you to at least be educated in the fact that it is something that can come up as you continue to or grow and do more business with them. These companies may ask you to pay to play, which, if you ask me, look, you got to look at your numbers and see if it makes sense for you and look with the grand scheme of things. So I'll leave it at that. But not all relocation specialists are created equal. I know I've coined that phrase for not midterm rentals are created equal, and that's how you probably got here. It's one of my intro videos, but the relocation specialists are also not created equal because they have different objectives, different incentives, and different goals. And you need to make sure that you align the one that has the right goals for you. So with that said, now that you understand this, are you going to focus on the relocation specialist or the relocation search specialist? Power to you. If you're in furnished accommodation, focus on the relocation specialist. They are looking for temporary housing providers like you, and make sure you continue to be at service. And the one thing that I talk about all the time, this industry is a one too many. So when you do close a deal with one person, there's a chance they come back for more. Why? Because they relocate families for a living. And that is a huge oversight as to why I believe B2B supersedes B2C, because of the one too many relationship touch point that you can have with just one relocation specialist can lead into many multiple deals. Happy hosting. If you got value from this video, make sure you check out the video called What You Need to Know About Relocation Specialists.